Welcome to the Women Lighthouse podcast, your friendly guide through all the ups and downs of life. We're here to remind you that every woman has the strength to take charge of her journey and make her dreams come true. Each week, we'll share heartwarming stories and helpful tips from amazing women who have faced their own challenges, come out stronger. Tune in, get inspired, and let's start this exciting journey towards achieving your dreams together. The Women Lighthouse, your guide to a brighter tomorrow. Hello, ladies. Welcome to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. It's great to have you on the show today. Today, we're going to be talking about survival mode versus flourishing, choosing to truly live. And the question I have for you is, are you living your life on survival mode? Or are you truly enjoying every moment of life? Let's face it, there are so many times in life that it feels as if you are on autopilot. You basically wake up, you prepare yourself for the day, you go out, you go about your day's business, you come back, you prepare to rest, and the cycle goes on and on. Sometimes you may even find yourself engaging in activities that you don't necessarily enjoy, but you have to do it because man got to survive. Does that describe you? So basically, in today's episode, I will be telling you why you shouldn't stay in survival mode. Yes, you need to live in survival mode, but just for a short period of time. What are some of the harmful effects of staying in survival mode over a prolonged period of time? And I'll also be sharing with you practical ways in which you can start flourishing, even when there is a need to still stay in survival mode. So let's get right into it. So when I was thinking about preparing for this topic, I had to really think of instances where I had actually been in survival mode. I remember when I completed my compulsory National Youth Service Corps, and I was just tired. Like that 1 year of my life where I served, I was the only doctor there. So I wasn't given opportunity for leave, even to attend a compulsory community development program. I couldn't because I was always working. So that 1 year of my life was work mode, survival mode. And when I came back, I just told myself, I'm not even applying for jobs. The natural instinct is when you're transitioning from one season to another, you already begin to prepare for the next season. Mine, because of how burnt out I felt, I just told myself, I want to rediscover myself. I want to rest. I'm not going to apply for any jobs. I'm not searching. I'm just going to stay at home. So when my parents were like, what are you doing? I told them, please, I just need a break. And my mom was like, for how long? I told her, I don't know. And the truth is, I actually spent 6 months just rediscovering myself. What was I doing? Reading, listening to audiovisual resources that would help me in my self-discovery. And that was when I discovered Hida Lindsay. If you've listened to me before, you will know that she's one of my mentors. I've never met her, but I know that in my lifetime, I will definitely meet her in the nearest future. So that was that season where I was just really on survival mode and I needed to press pause. Another season was when I was experiencing a long distance marriage with my husband. I think for about 2 years or so, it was like survival mode. Yes, the job I was working at that point was not so demanding, but because of the commuting of traveling from one state to another, the cost and all, me being alone without the support of my husband, it was just a challenging season of my life. And another one I can remember was after I gave birth to my second child and I got a new job. Imagine getting a job while nursing a 1 month old baby and not having someone to really help you. And it was a very, very hectic season of my life. And basically, I would use these experiences to show you how I knew it was time to stop and rethink and start living and enjoying my life. So let's get right into it. So some of the things that you would make you know you are living on survival mode is basically when you are managing yourself through a difficult or challenging season. So look through your life now. Are you going through a challenging season, and are you managing during that period of time? So the truth is, you can go through challenging seasons and not necessarily have to manage through that period, but actually enjoy the process. So this is not to say that challenges will never come your way, but when it comes to flourishing in life, it goes beyond being on that mode where you have to be keep up with whatever you're going through just to see the next day, and you're like, oh, let me just keep managing till I get to the finish line. If that is you, then you are on survival mode. If you are struggling to hold on, to pull through, to persist, to endure, or just to keep body and soul together, I know this one rings a bell. When you are working on that job, and basically on that job, you are like, oh, this is not my ideal job, this is not my dream job, but it's just to keep body and soul together. I remember when I was working in a private hospital where I currently reside, when I started my career, that was actually the first job I got after my National Youth Service Corps. That job, the stress levels were so high. And that was when I was about starting a family, I was about getting married. At some point, I knew that staying on this job would not really help me in achieving my career goals, as well as help me in my finances, and also help me in starting a family. Because shortly after I got married, I got pregnant. So I had to begin to make plans on how to transition from that job into something that would accommodate these aspects of my life. So that was a season also that I was on survival mode. I was trying to keep body and soul together. And the truth is, like I said, it's not a bad place to be as long as it is temporary. So now the second side of the coin is to flourish. And basically, for women, it's been discovered that there are so many reasons why we tend to just limit ourselves to survival mode. One of them is when we have to we're filled with obligations that we have to meet. So, for instance, imagine you're a single mom and you do not really have support, or you may even be married, but your husband's income and your income are not enough to support the family. So, even if for you, you would prefer to be a stay at home mom, to be more present with your kids, because you have to work to meet up with responsibilities and obligations, then you have to stay on the job even if you are not enjoying it. But what if you have the mindset that actually, yes, I have obligations to meet up with, but this is just a temporary state of my life. What can I do to ensure that this is not a prolonged state? Another reason is because of lack of support systems, which I've earlier mentioned. Like in my own case, when I had a lack of support system, it was just so challenging. And that was a very, very trying period for me. Also, the need to meet up with societal expectations and pressures to do things the way other people are doing it, and you're not necessarily enjoying it. So, for instance, for me, as a medical doctor, it's expected that, in fact, now things are even better. Then it was expected that you would do residency and you become a consultant and all that. So there was that expectation. But for me, I knew that I didn't want to practice it like as a clinician for a prolonged period. So yes, there was a season I had to do that. But because I knew what I wanted, I didn't give in to the societal pressure of having to do a residency training program. Rather, I went with the career path I wanted, despite still being a doctor. Then when you have high stress levels, you are so stressed, and you're burnt out. So there's that tendency that you just keep doing things monotonously and you experience survival mode. And the need for perfectionism. You want things to be so perfect. You go all out to ensure it's so perfect, even if you are not enjoying it. And there's a common quote that says that it is insanity to do the same thing repeatedly and want to get a different result. So now that you identify, based on what I've shared, or even other things that make you stay on survival mode, how can you take advantage of these things you have identified and turn it into living in flourishing mode, even when you have obligations, even when you don't have a support system, even when you are faced with societal pressures, even when there are high stress levels, even when you are not getting what you really want, or you want things to be perfect? Is it still possible to flourish despite having all these factors? And the answer is yes. The thing is, why do you need to flourish? That is where you need to begin from. When you understand why you need to flourish and enjoy your life, enjoy every moment and every season of your life, you begin to do the things you need to do to turn things around from being on survival mode to flourishing. You need to have a sense of purpose. Why are you existing? Like for me, being a medical doctor is beyond, oh, I just want to save lives, or as a medical doctor, I can earn better. The prospects are there if I go outside the country. But that sense of purpose, that I know that I want to enrich the lives of others through my skill, and I want to show people how they can live a better quality of life, drives everything I do as a medical doctor. And as a women development specialist, it is my passion to see that women are all God has created them to be, and flourish and live balanced and fulfilling lives in all their spheres of influence. Also, when you have clarity on what you want to achieve, for instance, if you are working and you know you would love to be a stay-at-home mom, you have clarity that I actually want to be a stay-at-home mom so that I can take care of my kids at this season of their life. Because of this, I will need a flexible job, or I will need a flexible source of income. I don't want to lose my earning power. The reason I'm on this particular job that doesn't give me flexibility is because it is paying my bills. But I want to go beyond paying my bills. I want to enjoy my motherhood. I want to enjoy my life as a mother of these two young children while still having earning power. So why don't I start a business, or why don't I do a course that will give me opportunities to apply for more flexible jobs or more flexible remote jobs? So you can see that clarity that you have already makes you begin to think about options that are available for you to turn your life from survival mode to flourishing in that without losing your earning power. Also, there's this peace and satisfaction that comes with enjoying your life. You are not just existing. That's why you see that some people get to a certain age and they wonder, okay, wait, so I've been working in this organization for 10 years. What have I even achieved? No promotion, no salary increase. I've just been working and I'm putting in so much effort. And look at these other people, my colleagues that are the same age as I am. They are even doing a lot better. They're earning a lot better. You can see comparison is setting in. But when you decide that I'm going to transform this situation and see how I can maybe gain a certification that puts me at the upper edge to be able to request for promotion, you begin to see possibilities, and there's this peace, there's this satisfaction, there's this confidence in who you are that you do not even have any reason to compare yourself. It's the same thing with me, with what I do. even if I may not be at the same level as my colleagues who I graduated with from medical school, there's this sense of fulfillment, there's this sense of satisfaction because I'm not just living based on survival mode, I'm living based on fulfillment and I'm flourishing and thriving in what I am doing. So it's really important that when you have clarity on what you want to accomplish, it fuels your passion and your desire to switch from survival mode to flourishing. And the next and the final thing I'll be sharing with you is how can you transition from surviving to flourishing? It begins with a desire. It begins with a desire. There came a time in my life when I looked at myself. I say, I go to work Monday to Friday. I receive salary at the end of the month. Is that all there is to my life? What else can I do with my life that will make me have this sense of fulfillment? That even if I'm not paid to do this thing, I will still be happy. And I began to seek the face of God and say, God, what can I do? I want more. So it begins with a desire. If you are satisfied with where you are and you say, oh no, everything is okay, I will just be managing, wetin man go chop, make I just dey manage, dey go. In all honesty, you will not go far. So you need to have a desire for change. Change starts with a decision. You need to have that desire to want more for yourself. Also, you need to redefine your life. By the time I began to have that desire and that nudging, it made me begin to look inwards. What am I passionate about? What are the things I love to do? What will I love to do that even if I am not paid, I can do it? What are the things that are burning deep within me? I began to seek God's face so that it will not be like trial and error, but I also began to examine myself and redefine my life. Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Where do I want to be in the next 10 years? What do I want to have accomplished? And with that, I gained clarity, which is the next step. You will seek for clarity when you begin to redefine yourself, your strengths, your passions, your desires, your aspirations. You become clear. The picture is clear. You've defined it. I knew that I wanted to impact the lives of women. I knew I wanted to show women the way on how they can live a balanced and a fulfilling life and be all God has created them to be. How? I began to ask myself, okay, I know I want to do this. How? And Holy Spirit told me, why don't you start a podcast? I'm like, podcast from where? From where to where? Like, in all honesty, from where? And like that, I began to research. I began to learn, read a lot of books. So you gain clarity. You gain clarity. And above all, you begin to express yourself. Even when I felt I didn't know what I wanted to say, or I knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to say it, I wasn't confident. But I began from one step to another step. And if you can sense, I am smiling because I'm just reliving how I began Women Lighthouse and where it is today and how confident I am in what I'm doing now. It began with a desire and it moved to me redefining my life, and I began to gain clarity. I began to express my passions, and I moved on to having a plan. When I began to, it was just like, okay, let me just release the first episode. From the first episode, idea for second episode came. I now knew, okay, because of my work, I will not be able to do this so regularly. And based on the research I had done, I said, okay, the structure I will put in place would be to make it a weekly podcast. From there was a need to start a social media page. From there was a need to build a community. So now I show up intentional about what I'm doing because I am not just enjoying it, I am finding fulfillment doing it. Even when I have to invest money into it, when I'm not gaining the returns per se as per monetary value. But because I am passionate about it, I can put in all the effort and resources and know that I am making best use of my life. So it's really, really important to live a flourishing life. Don't just exist. Don't just live every day as it comes. Responsibility, they say responsibility no dey finish. Responsibility doesn't finish. There will always be responsibilities. There will always be demands. There will always be things that will stretch you. Sometimes people wonder, like, how do you do this? The people I work with, how are you able to do so many things at the same time? It's not because I am superwoman. It is because I have gained clarity of how I want to live my life and how I want to maximize my life and how I find fulfillment in living the life I am living. So even if I have responsibilities, I still work a 9 to 5 job. I have children. I have a husband. I have my mom I'm taking care of. I have responsibilities, other things I'm involved in other than Women Lighthouse. But I don't complain. I'm not on survival mode and saying, oh, let me just do this to get by. I'm enjoying the process. Is the process stressful? Yes, it is. Is it hectic? Yes, it is. Is it demanding? Of course it is. But because I am flourishing in it and I am growing, I am a better public speaker than I used to be. I'm even writing a book. Like, do you understand? So it's so important to determine today that you will not just exist. You will not just live to meet up with responsibilities and demands, but you will enjoy every season of your life. Even when you're going through a trying season, you are waiting on something, you are in a transition season, you would enjoy it and learn from it. Thank you for listening in to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. I encourage you to share this episode with someone that needs to hear this. Let's uplift each other into ensuring that we don't just exist or survive, but we flourish in every step we take. See you on my next episode. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Women Lighthouse podcast. We really hope today's episode has given you some great tools, resources, and a boost of confidence to take charge of your journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. You can also follow us on our social media handle for even more tips and a wonderful community that's all about supporting your growth. Join us next time for more uplifting stories and encouraging insights. Until we meet again, keep shining bright, stay inspired, and embrace your unique path to a better tomorrow.